Count money, man. Stack riches. Try and told him I'm a beast, bud.
What's up, gang? Welcome back to another episode of the GRINDcast. Get ready. It's a new day, and we're talking to those of you out there that can relate to this is not a job, it's a lifestyle. This is not a job, it's a lifestyle. I think a lot of times this pertains to entrepreneurs or commission-based people, you know, folks that are not necessarily on any type of work schedule that they have to be on or need to be on, but also can apply, I think, to even people that are on a salary or in a payroll, you know, situation. I think there's things that people can relate to, because I think in order to be great, you know, the best analogy that I can give you is the first 40 hours of the week is what everybody in the world is typically doing. So you have to look at that as like, that's average. That's what everybody does. And so if I'm trying to get ahead, what do I do with the other hours? How can I put more work in to what it is that I'm trying to build? And that's going to be different for everybody. But I know, you know, even in a position where it's not commission based, if you invest more into it down the road, more is going to be blessed back to you, typically over the long haul. Specifically for the people that are in the entrepreneurship phase or building phase or building a business owners, you know, things of that scenario. This is not going to be a normal schedule. This is sometimes unpredictable schedule. Things pop up, and it's typically a 60-hour plus work week. And, you know, people think, you know, I have people sometimes, hey, are you working today? Like, the answer is usually just yes, no matter what. Like, it may be Saturday and you don't see me in the office, but I'm working. It may be Thursday, you don't see me in the office, but I'm working. There's always something that needs to be happening or focused on in the business. And so it's not a balance thing. It's a blend thing. It's a lifestyle. This is just a part of the lifestyle of how you function. And so you have to, in order to do that, you know, it's not for everybody, but in order to do that, mentally, you have to know why you're doing that. What is the outcome that you're trying to gain? What is the result of what you're trying to gain that is worth it for you to invest? You know, the first 40 hours is the automatic. The next 20 hours you put in, 40 hours you put in, 50 hours beyond that is your investment into yourself and an investment into where it is that you're going. And what ends up happening with investments is, you know, let's say for an example, okay, I'm working 40 hours a week and I'm making $50,000 a year. And let's say I save an extra $50,000 a year. So let's say I'm making $100,000 a year, but I'm only spending $50,000, but I have $50,000 a year that I'm saving. And I do that for 10 years. Well, over those 10 years, if I get interest on that money, let's say that money creates, and now it's not $500,000 because I've saved $50,000 a year, but because I've earned interest on the money and it compounded, it's $800,000. Well, now if it's $800,000, if I get 10% on that money, it's $80,000 a year. Let's say at that time I'm making $70,000, $80,000 a year in my job. I could do one of two things. I could choose to now say, I'm not going to work anymore, and I'm just going to take the $80,000 a year that my investments are kicking out to me, and I'm going to live off of that because it's the same thing that I was making. But how did you get that money there in the first place? Well, it was by making 100, but only spending 50, and then investing the other 50 10 years in a row. So that means you're living at a point where it's like, man, this is stressful a little bit because I'm investing the difference. But what's your payoff? The payoff is 10 years down the road, if you're cool with just living that same lifestyle, you now can retire and make the same amount of money that you were making working. And so that's the analogy I want to give you when investing business, like investing hours into your work, is you may want to work 40, but you really put in 70. And if you put in 60, 70, 80, and you do that for 10 years, you now may be in a position where you can retire because of the hours that you put in, not just the money that you saved, which has helped you to save money because when you're working, you don't have as much time to spend money on stupid stuff. But when you're working, but from the money that you save, let's say that's secondary. Let's say it ain't even the money that you save, but you put yourself in a situation where you've built such a big business that you no longer have to work in your business. You get to work on your business and you reap the benefits of the schedule flexibility that it brings and also the money that it brings. Because when you're doing more business, you make more money and you have a little bit more flexibility. So now if you don't want your day to start till 10, you could start it at 10. If you don't want it to start till 11, you could start it at 11. If you want to work till 9 that night, you can. If you want to work till noon the next day, you can. You have the flexibility of that. But how did you create that? You created that through sacrifice of 10 years of the overage of the normal 40 that all your brothers and sisters in the United States of America are already working. You can't pat yourself on the back for the first 40. That's average. That's what everybody's doing. A lot of people even doing 45. That'll probably put you. But the investment is how much above and beyond the normal 40 am I down to invest into myself, and what is the reason why? So why am I putting the extra $50,000 a year away? Well, so for 10 years from today, I could replace my income and I could retire. Great. Now, why am I putting the extra 20, 30, 40 hours of work into my work week for 5 years, 7 years, 8 years, 10 years? Why? What do you see? What is the reason? Because what happens is when you get there, when you get to the outcome, nobody, and we just went over this, but nobody feels bad for you and says, oh man, you're such a nice guy. You know, you deserve it because you put in so much work for 17 years. You know, some people, but most people, they don't get it. They think you got there easy. They think you got lucky. They think they want what you got. They want the lifestyle you have, the flexibility you have, the lifestyle you have, but they don't want to do what you did. They would just want to do what you do. And so on the come up of that lifestyle, part of what it brings is stress. You cannot build something big and not go through stress. You can't. You can't build your muscles in your body without putting them under stress. You can't build a business without being put under stress. And who likes to be under stress? Nobody likes to be under stress. So what do? You manage it. You manage stress. How do you manage the stress? I think you manage stress by mentally, physically, and spiritually training every day, preparing, because you never know what levels of stress are coming your way or when they're going to come your way, but we just know they're coming. So typically, if you meet somebody, they're either walking towards an adversity, they're walking out of an adversity that they just made it out of, or they're in the middle of adversity right now. But the adversity's coming. And so I think what helps is preparation. Like for me, yoga helps me. I go to yoga once a week. That helps me with the stress level and teaches me how to breathe. A lot of times why people can't function in stressful environments is they hold their breath. They're not breathing. Next thing you can do for stress, I think, other than exercise and like I mentioned, mind, body, and spirit, is only controlling what you can control. I can't control. Like so many people get stressed out about things that are out of their control. If you can't control it, don't stress about it. And if you've dug yourself a hole, what's the next best thing you can do? What's the next 2-3 things you can do that are in your control? What's the next right thing to do? What's the next right move to make? You're going to have pain in building something. I want to encourage you out there, if you're going through pain, it's painful to have a baby. It ain't painful to say, I want to start a business. I want to build a business, but it's painful to build the business and to go through it. It's not painful. Matter of fact, it's the opposite. To have a baby or to make a baby is not painful. It's fun. But when you have the baby or in the process of having the baby, it can be painful. It could be a struggle. So to say, I want to build a business, that's fun. But when you're actually in the trenches, when bullets are flying at you, You know, those shirts that come out that say you ain't about that life? Like, are you really about that life? You're capable of doing it. Most of the time, the only thing people need to manage is their mindset and their emotions. Everything else people can do. It's handling the stress level that comes with all the things of building something. You're going to have haters. You're not going to have a bunch of people hating on you when you're at the bottom, but you have haters when you get to the top. You have haters when you get above other people. Like, very rarely do you see people hating on someone that they're doing better than. Usually people hate on people that are doing better than them. Just when's the last time one of your haters was doing better than you? Just check back to it. Most of the time, the people hating on you ain't doing better than you. Because the people that are like big, that are building something, they don't have time to create negative energy. They don't have time to hate on people. But this game, building stuff, is a lifestyle. You want to go to the next level, you got to make it a lifestyle. You got to be able to answer the phone at 7 when other people ain't willing to answer the phone at 7. You got to be able to do things when other people ain't willing to do things. And here's the deal. I think this was James Allen. Something along the lines of those that would receive little, sacrifice little. Those that would receive greatly and achieve greatly, sacrifice greatly. But those that achieve greatness at the highest levels, sacrifice at the highest levels. When you see somebody living a lifestyle or having something, it's like, what did you give up? What did I give up? Not what do I got? What do I give up? What do we give up? What did you give up? What did they give? What did they give up? What are you willing to give up? Some people ain't willing to give up golf, but they want to go to the next level. Some people ain't willing to give their afternoon gym schedule up, but they want to go to the next level. You got to give up some friends. You got to give up the side things that you're doing, the bowlings, the golf, the BS. You got to be willing to give that up temporarily to build a bowling alley in your house, to build a golf course if you want to golf 5 days a week if you want to. You got to give that up, though, in order to get it. Because if you sacrifice a little, you get back a little. If you sacrifice greatly, you get back greatly, just like investing money. And it's not the same schedule when you're on the hustle and you're building something right now up front. It's not the same schedule. You'll see other people having more fun than you. But you also won't have the same results and schedule 10 years from today. You got to manage your mind. Your mind's going to play tricks on you. You're going to have doubt, fear, worry, anxiety, stress. All those things are of the devil. But you're human. I'm human. I have those things. I've had those things and I go through those things. But you got to manage those things. You got to shrug that off. You got to you got to get through that by putting positive into your mind. Just like a person, if they want to build their body up, if they want to make themselves, like a weak person can make themselves strong by lifting weights, a mentally weak person can make themselves strong by working on their mindset. Listening to the right things, putting intentionally the right things into your mind. No toxic energy. You have no room to have toxic when you're going through these things. You have to block yourself off and just put positive in constantly, over and over and over and over again into your mind. What books inspire you? What audio books inspire you? What motivation inspires you? What things inspire you? You got to have a vision. Why do you got to have a vision? Because to get to where you want to go, you got to go through some things that suck. To have success, you got to go through things that suck. And the only reason why you can go through the things that suck is because you got a vision. Vision is not sight. Sight is, oh, I could see it right here. It's right in front of me. That's all I can believe because that's what I can see. You can't just only believe in things that you can see. You got to believe. You got to believe when nobody else believes. You got to have a vision when nobody else can see the vision. And all you can do is control the next right steps. I had a wise man tell me when I just started into the business that was super successful, and I asked for his advice. He said, man, the advice that I got you to building this business the right way is to only work half days. And I'm like, wow, that's opposite of what people were telling me. I thought I had to grind. He said to only work half days. He paused and he said, yeah, you just got to choose which half of the day you want to work. It's going to take you 12 hours a day, bro. That's only half a day. You got 24 hours a day. Half days. This is not a job. This is a freaking lifestyle, ladies and gentlemen. Stop feeling bad for yourself out here on the hustle. Stop listening to the negative people, the naysayers. You ain't promised tomorrow. That's true. But I believe my ass getting up tomorrow. No regrets if it's my time to go. Because we built something special, inspired a bunch of people along the way. Helped a bunch of people learn how to have a vision, create a mission. Maybe that person goes, but how about all the other people that stay through you? It wasn't for naught. All these things that we privilege ourselves with, the cars we drive, the phones we use, the houses we live in, the planes we fly in, the bikes we ride, all these things were created. These businesses, these things that we are the benefit, that we get to live life by. The people that have made life better, typically those are the people that travel the road less common. Those are the people that had to go through all these things. They didn't do that by putting in average work. They did that by working half days or more. Pick your 12. Pick your 12 and we'll see you on top. Keep grinding, keep hustling, keep inspiring. Thank you guys for sharing some of your time with us. Hopefully it helped. If it did, share it with some other folks. We'll see you next time on the GRINDcast. Get ready. It's a new day.